But they even want to try and rig the election at the polling booths where so many cities are corrupt, and you see that. And voter fraud is all too common. And then they criticize us for saying that.
This week, Donald Trump made waves by claiming the presidential election is rigged. While the majority of people thought the comment was outrageous or bizarre, some have expressed real concern. But just how real is voter fraud, and how hard would it be to rig an election? We're going to ask Wendy R. Weiser this morning, who directs the democracy program at the Brennan Center for Justice at the NYU School of Law. Wendy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome. First of all, let's talk about, when we talk about voter fraud, there are different types of voter fraud. So what are they?
Absolutely. I mean, voter fraud is any kind of deceptive attempt to interfere with the election, and it could take many forms. It could be voter intimidation, it could be ballot box stuffing, or it could be what was just insinuated, ineligible person trying to impersonate another at the polls.
But how often does this actually happen?
Well, the kind of voter fraud of ineligible people showing up at the polls and voting or trying to vote in the name of another
is really small, isn't it?
It is vanishingly rare. A very widespread study found, looking at all votes cast from 2000 to 2014, out of 1 billion votes cast, there were only 31 credible instances of that kind of voter fraud. So this is something that, while certainly unacceptable and something that should be punished if it happens, is not something that's a real threat to our elections.
How much is there any confidence shaken this year at all by some because of outside influence in other areas? I mean, does hacking present any sort of a problem when it comes to counting votes?
You know, the real risk of the hacking news and stories, and this is more and more experts and election officials are worried about this, is the shaking of voter confidence. Experts do not think that there is any real credible threat to the integrity of our elections from hacking. While there were attempts to interfere with voter registration and to hack into and get information from voter registration databases, unlike voter registration rolls, voting machines are not and should not be connected to the internet at any point. So you can't worry about someone in a basement in Moscow or anywhere else trying to access your voting machines.
But just hearing something like this, can't that shake voter confidence and say, I don't know if I even want to participate?
You know, that is the concern out of this kind of activity, that voter confidence will depress participation. And people should know that, and know that the most patriotic thing that they can do is actually go up, show support for their democracy, and go and vote on Election Day.
On election night, the losing candidate, whoever that is, does not actually legally have to concede in any way.
Absolutely not. And in fact, at no point is there a required concession. This is an important ritual of our democracy, of showing that we come together and believe in our democracy and accept the legitimacy of our results. And sometimes the election results won't be fully known at the end of Election Day, but when all is said and done and the final results are certified, we accept the outcomes and we move forward with our new leaders.
Well, just a few weeks to go until Election Day 2016. Wendy Weiser, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.